Hello and welcome to the March edition of That Saints podcast. Hope you're well and enjoying the start to the new season. We'll be reviewing the start of Saints season for the first 4 weeks and what will be a big month to come for the Saints. I'm Graham Cunliffe and the usual suspects are here with us again. Steve Beach on the buttons and feeding in some of the odd word of wisdom. Hello, Steve.
You all right?
Good. Steve Orford, the man behind That Saints blog you might quite like. Well worth a read for all Saints fans. Well, that's what it says here. Hiya, Steve, you all right?
It's just called That Saints blog now. I've downsized.
Good to see you. Adi O'Sullivan and Gaz Tinsley are here, and Paul Rigby. How are you, B? Good evening, chaps. How are we?
Evening.
Good evening.
How do?
Still understated as ever there, Adi. Well, good to see you all. We're having a look at the first 4 weeks of the season. We'll have a look at the next month, what's coming forward for the Saints, and some talking points in relation to both discipline and the disciplinary for this show this month. But it's been an interesting start to the season. I'd had to rewrite my introduction after Saints spoiled the party on Friday night, but we'll come to that later on. But let's have a look at the start to the season with the home game against London Broncos. A 40-4 points win for the Saints, with tries from Whitley a couple, Lomax, Clark, Makinson, Wellesby and Dodd, and just the 4 conversions, which is something we might come across later. Thoughts on the first game of the season, chaps? Anybody like to lead us off?
Darryl Clark, very impressive. Whitley, very impressive. Goal kicking, not so impressive. Should and could have really put them to the sword. They were there for the taking. Impressive scoreline when you look at it, but when you saw the performance, we should have been hitting 10 tries there at least. I know it was first game of the season, but it was their first game of the season as well.
That's
and
true.
From that first game, again, there was if we were more clinical, if we had a better attack, we'd have steamrolled them.
Yeah.
But it was what it was, and like I say, Clark, and do you know the other one for the first game and since, Lewis Dodd looked sharp.
I think there's been a big sea change in his performance. I think he seems to have got over his injury now.
Yeah, so I was kind of impressed with it, and obviously we'll talk about what followed the week after. But there was nice early signs, very nice, and fantastic attendance as well.
It was tremendous, wasn't
nearly
it?
15,000 there, which for London at home. And I don't give a monkeys how people got tickets, whether they got them discounted or whether they work for NHS or Uncle Tom Cobley. I'm not asked about that.
Yeah.
Fill that stand behind the sticks.
That was the first time I've seen the East Stand open for a London game.
Yeah, well, I think now a couple of times last year we had a match where we give home bargain staff got tickets, didn't they, as the major sponsor. I honestly think you're looking at Salford, Wigan, Warrington, Lee nowadays, and possibly Leeds if they can be arsed. But they're too arrogant to travel.
That's the first one.
He's got one.
That's the first thing it leads.
They're too arrogant to travel. But
Might be a few more to come today.
And anyone other than that, I think we give them the end block, the end 2 blocks of the North Stand, and open that East Stand, fill it full of kids, fill it full of emergency service workers, whatever you want. Fill it full of underpaid joiners. Do you know what I mean? If you
Is that an in-joke that I don't know about somewhere?
It's a dig at his dad. It's a dig at his dad.
All right.
But yeah, all right. Graham had a great attendance, and it was set us off with good hopes.
Yeah. Do we think London are preparing for the Championship?
They should be.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're going.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been placed in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
Whether they want to or not.
By the IMG gradings, they've got no hope of surviving for next year if what they're planning actually comes to fruition in terms of the top 12 teams in the licensing grading system, the Club Super League. If that's the case, then they're going straight back down, even if they win every game from now until October.
And isn't it a shame there, because they got 6,000 in the first home match, they got 4,500 against Wigan. I know there's 1,000 Wiganers. They put a team out there that 8, 9, 10 of them were homegrown players.
Yeah.
They've got a stunning little stadium.
Where is that, by the way? I didn't pick up
Wimbledon,
on that.
Wimbledon.
Oh, is it? It's been redevelopment, right? Fair enough.
So all that side.
The situation they're in is made them not competitive. Because they're not going to recruit Super League standard players
it's a shame,
if they know they're going straight back down to the Championship. They wouldn't spend the money and the players wouldn't go there anyway.
I think it's a shame.
So they've got no hope.
Any other thoughts on that first game, Gaz, Paul?
I'm with Adi, to be fair. I thought we should have put another 4 or 5 tries on them, to be fair. I thought we left a lot out there.
Yeah.
Blake was on the wing, wasn't he, for the his first game? He didn't see the ball outside Percy, which, again, I'm a Percy fan, but he needs to pass the ball. There's no point having a winger out there if you're not going to get the ball out.
That might have been said 1 or 2 times before.
This is a long-standing problem,
There's no point Blake playing that first game, was there, because he was never going to get the ball.
Yeah. Well, okay, so fairly comfortable start to the season, a comfortable home win against London, and what I thought was going to be a tough one, the next game, was Huddersfield away. It's always cold, shall we say, cold and horrible in Huddersfield in February, but a 28-0 stuffing. Grim, but what a tremendous performance in the end.
Yeah, it was a good... I like going to Huddersfield, it's always a good away trip. And I thought that performance showed a lot more positive than the London performance.
Tough first half. It was it 4-0 lead, and then right on half time, Sione got a great try right on half time.
But everything about that performance was tons better than London.
Yeah.
Scored one in particular was a glorious try. The defence was outstanding.
Yeah.
And I think did Daz Clark not get sin-binned in that one?
He did, right, towards the end.
We went down and we defended, and everything about that away day there was top class. Loved everything about that, really pleased. And again, Clark and Whitley and Lewis Dodd. I've given him some grief over the years.
Yeah, fair
I'll be the first to admit that. And it's not through disliking him, because, like we've said many times, Graham, we watched him coming through the academy.
Yeah.
It's been that desperate to want him to do well, like we did with Danny Rich. There's nobody more desperate than me for Danny Rich to be the next Sean Long.
Well, Danny Rich was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, Huddersfield delighted with it. Thought that was a cracking performance, all round attack, defence.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball around, it was what we wanted to see. It was good.
Were you there, Paul? Did you see the game?
I didn't go. I watched the game on television, but I didn't go. But I was impressed with him.
Just a little note I had on this one, and we'll come to it in a little bit about the totally wicked pitch. But that pitch at Huddersfield was excellent, and it's a Premier. It was until 2 years ago Premier League football pitch. Did that make a difference? Does that make a difference to us? The quality of the pitch, given what we're playing on at home at the moment.
I'm not so sure as that made it, because we're used to playing on a shit pitch, because we've had a shit pitch since that ground was built. We've never had a good pitch there. It's always been underneath the surface. It seems to be 3 inches below the surface. It seems to be sand. But we can play on it.
Yeah.
And we do play well on it. I think the football ground thing, you nailed it about why Huddersfield's pitch is so good.
Yeah.
So I don't really. It's not as if we were like Warrington and we had the quickest back line in Super League, but we've not got anybody that runs quick enough to be bothered by running on a muddy pitch. It don't matter, they could be playing on Ainsdale Beach, it don't matter with the speed of our players, does it?
No.
But I don't think, I think we just showed what we are capable of
when we concentrate and play
works,
well.
When it works, rather than the pitch.
Thoughts on that game?
Huddersfield,
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't as impressed, but then I really am. I thought until those 2 late tries, which were both in the last sort of 5-6 minutes, as good as they were not standing tries. I thought that just came out of a point where Huddersfield just kind of fell over in a heap because they were fatigued. Until then, I thought it was a dominant performance, but a pretty functional one. I didn't think our attack was all that outstanding. It was still kind of the same principles as we usually apply, which is pretty conservative style. But we're never in any danger. Defensively, we're outstanding. Yeah. So it was a great win, great result. I just didn't think it was the all-round entertaining performance that others thought it was.
No, well, I can get that point. Gaz, did you get a chance to see this game? No, you were in Spain. Was it Spain, this one? Yeah.
Do you know, you're right there, Steve. It's just that you get that used to our attack being so conservative and laboured. The defence did really impress me, but maybe I was expecting a tougher match. Maybe I was expecting it to be.
I was too.
I would never have expected to come away with 28-0.
No,
but they've done quite well, haven't they?
I was about to say that. What they've done since.
No mugs.
Well, they've beaten Leigh and they've beaten Cass, I think.
Well, didn't they beat Lee away in the first match?
In the first
They
game,
did,
yeah.
yeah.
But they've lost against us and lost against Wigan.
They didn't just beat Cass, they did
The amateur,
a proper number on
Yeah,
Cass.
so maybe I was. Well, Steve's never going to get. You keep it real, don't you, pal? To be fair to you, but
I'm just very negative, Eddie, as you know.
It was just nice to see us score a couple of
Long range
tries
tries.
like that. Do you know what I mean?
It was really good tries, the last two there.
Yeah, putting it through hands and I think that game as well. I saw glimpses of Morgan Knowles becoming. This is going to sound bizarre, but if Morgan Knowles could try to emulate a bit of what James Bell does, and then we could have two threats because he's got the physicality to do what James Bell does.
I think there's a genuine debate between those two now, Bell and Knowles.
I think for me, and I said it again this week, Steve, that I'd put Knowles as a prop and I'd start Bell at 13.
I'm 100% with that.
I think that.
I think Bell offers something different. Definitely.
Well,
he's more of a ball player for me.
100%.
Well, he is.
He's a ball playing forward, and then at least if you put Morgs at prop, when Matty Lees is fit,
Yeah.
unless you're playing Catalans and you need Big Al, but whoever you're playing, if you start Matty Lees and Morgan Knowles as your two props, two mobile, dynamic,
Yeah.
aggressive, physicality. But I would, and I'm a massive Morgan Knowles fan, but I just think James Bell's a better loose forward than Morgan Knowles.
We said this in the first podcast, didn't we? I think Knowles does the same job at prop as he does at loose forward anyway, but Bell gives you more at loose than what he does at second row for me. And especially playing alongside Clark now, when them two play alongside each other, the game completely speeds up.
100% that.
And then you see Wellesby then on the back of Bell and outside Dodd and Lomax, and like you said, things start to happen then. But with Knowles, like I say, he's more direct, but if he had a pair of hands on him, I think you'd see a few more out wide, wouldn't you?
Can't you tell he coaches and we watch?
Used to.
You can tell he actually knows how the game works.
That's how the game works. Instead of pretending he knows how it works.
But
All right, well,
I have to say
two,
though,
yeah.
if Morgan's not developed that by now, it's
He's
not
gonna
really
stay as
coming,
he
is it?
isn't he? Yeah.
It's not really coming.
No, that's right, that Gaz. I mean, again, we say it
Well-
again, how surprising it is. It's his testimonial year. So he ain't going to change now. He ain't going to be anything other than what he is. And I do.
He started off at 9, didn't he, when he first come through? He can't pass the ball.
Well, yeah, he did. But I'd defo have James Bell in there as a loose forward. He gives you so.
I think
he'll do the work rate.
Bell's forcing himself in, isn't he? He's to me, he's
since he
forcing
joined the
himself.
club, to be honest.
He's forcing himself into the 13 rather than starting.
I think he's
13.
a fantastic player myself, really do. Just love watching him play.
Yeah. Okay. 2 out.
Maybe I can say that about it at the moment.
Yeah. All right. So 2 out of 2 to start the season with, which was happy days, and then a big game, Lee at home, which was I thought going to be a tough game, and it turned out to be a tough game. We finished Saints 12, Lee 4. Tries from Makinson, Wellesby, and 2 conversions. Probably more. A more remarkable game for the opening couple of minutes, really, with the John Asiata situation. After having your behaviour changing the rules of the game, to come on and start the game and try and do exactly the same thing you did last year in the cup semi-final was somewhat bizarre for me, and I was just shaking my head in the stands there, thinking, what is he playing at? Almost, if Sione's foot had been on the floor when he hit him, I think we would have had another party situation there, crazy situation. But just to tidy up, tries from Tommy Mack and Wellesby and 2 conversions, and a try from Hardacre for Lee. A tough game. Thoughts on this, lads? Who wants to lead off on this? Gaz, you want to lead off? No, you were. Wasn't there.
Grubby.
Yes.
Grubby. Everything about Lee is grubby.
Yeah.
And that first 42 seconds, whatever it was, kind of summed it up. Just a complete brain fart, stupidity.
But it's not a brain fart, though, is it? Because he's done it countless times and does it again. Is it a brain fart? Because if you do it and you know you shouldn't do it, and then you do it.
How much of it is down to Lamb as well, Adrian Lamb?
I was just going to say that.
Who comes from a certain culture, let's say.
Yeah.
I don't mean Papua New Guinea, by the way. I mean Wigan.
Topical.
And they've been, you know, when he was coaching there, they were the grubbiest team in Super League by a mile.
Absolutely.
So has he just brought that
To Lee.
nastiness to Lee with him?
But would
or is that Seattle a lone lunatic?
I mean, to do it, as everything Graham said there, you're under the spotlight, first game against us and yada yada and all the history, and then to do that straight away is just for me, it's just utter stupidity. Nobody.
It was madness, yeah.
Yeah, nobody as a captain of a club and nobody as a coach, no matter how dogged they might be.
Did you think it was a yellow?
Did what, sorry?
Do you think it was a yellow? I thought it was a red myself.
I think with the rules as they are, I think it's a red. If you're talking about protecting players
Exactly, yeah.
in a tackle that has had evidence that it finished 2 players for the season and one of them still can't bloody walk properly by all accounts, I don't know. But for the rest of the game, it was grubby.
Yeah.
It was dirty.
If those Saints players don't run in, would anything have happened?
That's what I was pleased at. You don't want, but the fact that, and I think Knowles was the first one in there, we needed to make that stand because twice last season, Lee bullied us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they beat us just by out-thugging us. They did it twice to us last year. And we stood up to them straight away, first minute, we're having none of that. And I think that probably did say, well, we need to have a look at it. Plus the fact the whole stadium went bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an assistance
I think
to the
that
ref,
does
wasn't it?
have. What I will say is that a lot of people, and I think we discussed it on our WhatsApp group, people around me were going apoplectic about saying Lee offside. Lee weren't as offside as people were thinking. Both teams, the referee was going back 12 yards, 12 metres, whatever he's going back. He's not just going back 10, because both defences were firing off the line that quick. I mean, we all know TJ, we all know Tara, she's a professional referee, and she always says, when they fly off the line that quick, you have got to take a step, just so that you can see what's going on. The referee doesn't have to stand 10 back.
No.
You know, so the ref was stood a bit deep. And it did look like both teams were permanently offside. They weren't, it's just the defences were coming in that quick and the referee was standing 12 deep.
Yeah.
But it was a grubby, dirty, niggly, tough. It was a bone cruncher of a match, it really was.
Well, for 25 minutes, it was a tough 0-0, and then I think, if I'm not, I don't think I'm wrong. I think James Bell came on and changed the game because he was fairly quickly into taking the line on and passing in the tackle, and I think we got the first try from that.
He just passed to Whitley and then to Wells before the try.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time we saw Moses this season, wasn't it? He came on for Darryl Clark, and I don't think he's not done anything spectacular since he's been here, but
well, he's certainly not part of the Red Team.
Oh, he's here all week.
But yeah, it was just a grubby affair, grubby night, and again, Lamb after the game with his comment. And we know our pitch is shocking, but what was utter stupidity? What a stupid thing.
How we can say, the most startling thing for me was that he complained it was a yellow card for a start. But to whinge him out the pitch, it's just deflection. It's just deflection from a defeat, isn't it? He hates us as well, yeah.
Since that Wellsby try, that whole...
Yeah.
It's not just our pitch, though, is it? It's the majority pitches.
Yeah, you look at...
It rains every day. What do you expect?
Yeah, Warrington, OKR, they've all been quagmires.
Quagmires,
The Warrington pitch is probably worse than ours at the minute. Hull KR was, and then if anybody saw that Featherstone and Wakefield game on
I saw some clips.
Word. Crikey, that was like Bishop Road Fields from the 70s.
I bet you nobody complained about that, did they?
No.
I'd have been home at half time if I'd been at that game. I'm not staying watching that.
He could.
A lot of blokes rolling in mud. Not to me.
But I think the league
Pay
game
good money
was
for that.
now
It's just not me.
different to the Huddersfield game. The league game was everything I expected it to be.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I expected. That's exactly what we got. Grubby, I'm disliking him. I'm disliking Lee at the minute. I just don't like him. I don't like the whole thing about him. I don't like anything about him.
More than Leeds?
It's getting there.
It's got a long way to go to the lead standard, surely.
I don't know, it's getting there fast.
No,
That's a long-held grudge, is that?
It's coming down the blinds.
They are coming in on the blind side, but the one thing for sure, in a million years, and it don't matter how many leopard knickers they were, they ain't going to do 5 grand finals on a bounce, are they? They ain't going to. No, they ain't. Yeah, no, and at least
Not with Lamb in charge, did that?
and at least they've got a roof on the away end.
Yes, it's true.
And somewhere park.
Oh, they got a better ground, yeah. It's a nice place.
Well, at that point, 3 out of 3, so can't argue with the results from the start of the season.
What did you think of the tackle? Sorry, Greg.
Sorry.
The Asiata thing. As someone who's played a lot and not done what you've done in rugby,
Yeah, so
do you think it was just a brain fart, or has he been sent?
Considering like you just said before, considering what had happened the year before, you don't do that after in the first minute, do you? Let's be honest. Is that tackle completely out of the game now? Is it?
Well, they changed the rule, didn't they?
They changed the rules to say you couldn't do it. Yeah.
You had to wrap your arms properly.
There you go. Then that, do you know what I mean? It speaks volumes. If it's been banned, then why is he coming up doing it again? But the rules have changed each week. You literally don't know what you're getting each week, do you? One week that's allowed, the next week it's not.
It's fairly chaotic in it at the moment. Yeah.
But he didn't get any matches banned, did he?
No, he didn't know, which surprised me.
It's crazy.
That's the thing that's frustrates everybody, isn't it?
Is that thing creeping in that we've spoke about for years, that they wait to see how bad an injury is before they decide how much of a suspension somebody gets?
Well, it could have been because he got up and carried on, didn't he?
I wouldn't like to think so, because it should have nothing to do with it, should it?
I totally
Well,
agree with you.
it shouldn't have.
It's about,
Totally agree
is
with
it
you.
dangerous or not, and how much intent is it?
But year after year, it's been proved, hasn't it, that if somebody gets a bad tackle and they get hurt, they generally tend to get a bigger ban.
You normally start at the beginning of the season, don't you? And you think, like we said, with that whole player got 4 matches, then the week after that's only like a 1-match ban. It's completely different each week. If it was
It's mad how start of the season, isn't it?
exactly.
Well, the Pele one was insane. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah. The only other footnote to that is that it was the first time I've not been disappointed when I've seen a player go off injured.
Yeah.
Life came at him very fast. Life came at him very fast in that game, didn't it? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that little incident at the dugout's been kept very quiet as well, hasn't it? That's really, considering because he didn't half bounce that bottle off that fan.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Well, I thought there was a dispute as to who it was, wasn't it?
I was thinking, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be Chester.
No, it wasn't him.
Chris Chester got the blame for it.
It wasn't him.
Wasn't Chris Chester.
It wasn't him.
Can't think of his name.
I could see the guy and it wasn't him.
All right.
Yeah, Chris Chester got blamed for it because of someone on social media spouting.
Right, okay.
But no, it wasn't Chris Chester. But yeah, it was all very...
Yeah, because the logic there is, if that would have been the other way around, then a fan had bounced a bottle off a player's head like that,
Yeah.
it would have been held to play. So it should...
It'd have been on BBC News at 6, wouldn't it?
He'd have been banned from the stadium for who knows how long, maybe.
It's also not right that the fans are allowed to go so close to the playing staff for me as well, because it's not on. If a fan's there giving the opposite coaching staff an earful, you're going to get something back. Obviously, you've not a bottle, but
Potential Cantona situation.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate because over the years, because I have a seat there, and I've had quite a few chats with coaches. I've had a couple of good chats with Paul Rowley over the years. Just
He's a good bloke,
people waiting there and just watching the warm up, etc. They're all accessible. They're all happy to chat and photos and whatever. It's just obviously the steward who was ever responsible for that spot.
yeah, should have just moved the fellow on,
didn't get a handle on it, and there is a steward normally there.
We don't know
that's
what's
probably
been exactly said, do we? But
No.
I can imagine it's not the best of things if he's threw a bottle on him.
No.
But it was in sort of like discussion, wasn't it? And then he must have said something or replied to him, and next minute, it was later today, he was on.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It has gone quiet. I've heard nothing about it, and I sort of try and keep my ear to the ground on it.
No consequences.
Don't think so. I don't think so.
No, I've not heard it mentioned at all. There's more consequence with Teddy from Tarpley on social media with his keyboard warrior. Officialdom, I've not heard a thing about it.
No.
I'm not particularly asked if anything does come of it or not.
Well, I've seen the video, it doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But it depends if the bottle was full.
Looked empty? I was about to say it looked empty to me.
No, that was about half full.
It bounced off his noggin, didn't he?
Fella's probably had a few pints, so it probably didn't affect him.
Anyway, but you're not meant to have your lid.
He actually had a pint in his hand and he didn't spill anything.
When my kids get a bottle of Pepsi Max, they take the lid off.
That was coaching staff. They're not going to throw it at people, are they?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Not
Coaching staff
from now
can keep
on,
the
no
lids.
lids.
Yeah, no lids for the coaching staff.
All right, 3 out of 3. Not a bad start to the season then at that point. With Salford at home coming up, which I always thought was a home banker. But an interesting night, shall we say, on Friday, one way or another. So the bare facts are Saints 20, Salford 24. Tries from 2 from Dodd, Percy and Wellesby, only 2 conversions. Percy sent from the field after about 44 minutes. At the time, Saints were 20 points to 6 up. Where should we start with this one? Who would like to start? Gaz, you can have your first comment of the season.
Well, I'm just warming up
for this one, did you?
Just warming up now.
Oh, look, Gaz is it?
Gaz is in.
Yeah, I thought that when I seen him in the ground last week.
Any more?
Don't be all embarrassed. We're only joking, man.
I thought. I think we've got issues at 2, 3, 4, and 5. To be honest, I'm concerned. Me and Ed was discussing Tommy, who looks slower than we've seen him ever before. Wonga physically looks the part. We saw him at the event at Saints, didn't we? My God, he absolutely looks the part. However, right now it looks like we got that one Wonga, doesn't he?
Couldn't be much longer, could it?
So far,
I didn't have that one down as a possible gag, to be honest.
Couldn't get any much longer than that. I don't think he'd be any much longer either on this rate. That's the other point for me, though. I mean, you see him interviewed when we saw him at the event. He's like, he's clearly he can't get a game in Australia. That's clearly evident. He's come here with a commitment for 1 year, i.e., no commitment. He's not brought anybody with him, and I just don't see it. He's playing like he's just come for some extra cash. Yeah, mentality-wise, just doesn't look anywhere near our mentality should be. So no, not at all impressed there. I think putting it right though. I think if Percival doesn't go off, we win. And we'll talk about the incident, I'm sure, in a bit. But even on Friday, something that did concern me a little bit. I haven't seen before is Benison dropping bombs. Which happened a couple of times, and you think, well, where have we got cover here? Because we've got Ritson, but is he ever?
Caveat in there, Gaz.
Yeah.
One thing that did happen on Friday is that was a kicking masterclass from Sneed.
Yeah.
Sneed, of course.
Bombs that Benison drops, they're going up in the air, and even when they're 20 feet away from Benison, they're still spinning and they're still moving.
I get that.
It's
got to take them.
Really windy as well.
Yeah, I put that down to an anomaly where Benno's concerned.
I hope so. But I still think. But see, the one thing we have got is we've got like 1, 6, 7, 9s, and if Johnny or Dodd, who were, if we talk about positives, great. One of them gets injured, Jack goes there, Benno goes full back. So we've got that cover, but we haven't got I just don't think we've got top class wingers now. And chats we've had about what frustrated me was how we let Wardle go to Wigan without raising our hand and showing an interest. And then another one that really done my head in is Adam Keeran, but another one, Gildart was that good. He went to Australia. Okay, he didn't make it, but he's still way good for our game. And we let him go to OKR when we needed a centre. And it goes on. Joe Burgess.
Goals and all.
Joe Burgess. Why didn't we show an interest in Joe Burgess? So I get a bit frustrated with. I think we're struggling in cover there. I think you go on from there 6 and 7 fine. Bit worried about 8 and 10, to be honest, because Alex was brilliant till he went off, and then when he went off, we were lacking, weren't we? And Parsi, is he coming back? So I think we may have to look at Morgan, because we need some, and obviously Lees will come back, that's good. But we do need a bit of strike there. Second row's fine, loose forward's fine, but I am concerned about the outside backs. But I do believe that if Percival stays on, we win comfortably. But what was also another point to make is, and we discussed it, is what a fantastic job Rowley's done when he loses his best players every year.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't half play well. When we went to 12, it went right across that side, then it went across that side, and then they're throwing it round and finding the gaps and punishing us.
In that second, after Percy gone off, both Brearley and Sneed were screaming at the rest of the team about what they should and shouldn't be doing, because there were a couple of times when we were down to 12 where they were still driving it up the middle, and they were doing the nuts, and as soon as they started spreading it wide,
and we've got no pace as well.
But they did it well, didn't they?
Well, the thing with the way we play and defend is that we funnel in, and then if they get the ball wide and do get to the winger, we have the cover going across. But because we were down to 12, we didn't have that extra cover, which is 2 of their 3 tries that led to the win were out wide.
On our side, we were wide open.
Yeah.
Weren't we?
Yeah.
Percy's side, it was a matter of time. But they'd fling it over the other side first, then fling it back, and then there was acres of space.
But that's what they were screaming about doing, and it worked in the end.
And to pick up on Age's point, it was a masterclass from Sneed in every single...
Oh, he's
near the
super.
end, what was that, 40-20? He must have kicked it 40, 50 yards.
So it went about 60 yards,
And
didn't it,
2 of
that
his
kick?
conversions were on touchline on the wrong side for him, straight through the
He's been
middle.
brilliant for the last 10 years, Sneed.
Do you know, Paul,
I'm very
we said...
surprised he's not been England team. For me.
But he's not a bad defender
Bit of a
either,
lack of
because
pace, I think maybe that's the only thing.
You know, for me, England's lacked an organiser.
Yeah.
And you flip that round, if you put Sneed on the Saints team on Friday nights, Saints win that game even
Comfortably.
with down 12 men.
And similarly.
100%, because
By miles.
Lomax and Dodd, as well as Dodd started off, Lomax and Dodd sat back then when both of them should be controlling, kicking it into the corner, putting the eyeballs up, whatever, what Sneed does. If Sneed's on Saints team on Friday night and down to 12, Saints would still win that. That's how good Sneed is.
Pick on your other point, if you put Sneed at side of Mikey Lewis, that's pretty dynamic, isn't it, for England?
100%.
The only thing with Sneed, I don't think, he doesn't take it to the line. And I think the caveat to that is because his kicking game is so good.
He needs a top draw 6 next to him.
Last year he had Croft on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and he's got Brady on the other side, so he's got pace, I think, so he doesn't need, he just
Well,
organises,
we
doesn't have
said
the pace on his shoulders.
watching that match that in the last 10 years, if there's been a team that could have afforded, I don't want to say to carry Sneed because that's unfair to him, but can cope with his deficiencies, shall we say, it has been them teams we've had in the last 10 years. And we've not had a goal kicker, for God. Coop was kicking, but he wasn't a goal kicker. None of our last 4 or 5 goal kickers have actually been goal kickers. They've been players who have practiced and learnt how to kick. Fairly consistency. But we've never had a goal kicker. And I think we got to the point, Gaz's kids were there, and it's like, will he get this one? Whenever Saints are taking a conversion, we don't say whether he'll get it or not. We pick which advertising board it's going to go over.
Yeah.
When Sneed was kicking them, even from the touchline, I've turned round to Gaz's lad John and said, is he going to get this? He said, it's not even worth me playing this.
Straight through the middle.
It's a fair point.
But I think the Benison thing, that'd be my personal view.
I really hope that's right, because we've never seen that from him before.
No, we
He's been
haven't.
rock solid.
We haven't.
Just coming back on your point there about we've got problems at wingers, etc., etc.
Wing and centre.
I was watching the reserves on Saturday night because I made a deliberate point of going over to have a look, and we have got some real pace in the reserves. Dejan Sambu, and I can't remember the guy who was on the other wing, but the other centre, sorry. T. Ritson was played okay, looked good, defended well, didn't get many passes, but he was on the left wing for Saints, so that doesn't generally happen, does it?
Yeah.
I'm sceptical though, because T. Ritson, we were told he had express pace, and when he plays in the first team, it doesn't look as though he has.
I think me and you were not saying
When
page
he
with him,
comes
aren't
against
we?
Super League level players,
Darnell
he doesn't look that
McIntosh
fast, does he?
caught him.
Darnell McIntosh skinned him alive. He blitzed him, McIntosh.
Well, and he's not the quickest. No. Match Ashton catch him running backwards.
The other point I was going to make is the young scrum half kicked either 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9 from a touchline from
goal
everywhere.
kicking is the same at any level, so that's it.
But didn't Dodd do this in the academy? Dodd was kicking them from everywhere.
Yeah, he
He
was.
comes to the
and
first,
doesn't get it.
He just stops kicking.
Well, he gave it away when he got injured, didn't he? And then he
Well, maybe he's the answer.
only had to do it, like, he took it over again when Percy got sent off.
want that.
Well, he's still a bit young, though, to be honest. He's only 17, 18.
And you know
No, I'm on about Dodd.
Oh, if
Maybe Dodd's the answer.
Well, he took one the other night.
I mean, yeah, he like
pinged it
chipped
over.
and how good was that to see?
Nice.
So not only has he been improving game, I think his first 4 games this season have been better than anything he did last season. His kicking game's much better out of hand than it was last season. I know he muffed one kick to touch and it only went about 10 yards, but A lot of his kicks to touch this season, he's been getting 20,
Much better.
30, 40 yards.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting confidence back.
And then to see him taking a goal kick, to see him running at a line and jinking, for me, I mean, Johnny was brilliant, I thought, on Friday, but I think Dodd this season has been my biggest plus. Daz Clark's a massive plus.
Yeah.
Matt Whitley's a massive plus. Those two are great players. Lewis Dodd can win you stuff if you get the best Lewis Dodd.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that Friday. I know we got beat. I enjoyed it.
It was a great game for the neutrals, I'm sure. And
I thought Salford were fantastic.
yeah,
Absolutely.
no qualms about
We've seen
that.
Salford before playing really, really good stuff, haven't we? Yeah. It's not a massive surprise.
And do you know what we've not mentioned? That take, avoid the tackle, spin and pass
Lafay.
by Lafay.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
the pass from
God.
Sneed was absolutely edge perfect.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he could take it and spin away from him.
Pirouetted, didn't
and
he?
then flick the
And
pass
then
out.
release it.
Brilliant.
What a try that was.
Blake's defence was
Absolutely.
good there, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
did well.
what I'd say about Dodd is not from his kicking game. I think it is better. I think it can be. I think his longer kicking game can be a lot more improved. But I think the fact that he's actually taking that line on now, and I think it's a confidence thing, and he's getting in the. Which obviously gives Johnny that little bit more easy, you know, because he's been doing a lot of that, Johnny. But now he started to do that.
What another thing I didn't mind from Friday there, Steve, is the fact that we saw some variety in Dodd's kicks. We saw some grubbers, but we also saw, and I know it didn't come off, but they were trying things. They were trying to be inventive.
The one near the end,
They were
he got pulled back.
trying.
The one near the end's a penalty.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
kicked it through at a fantastic angle. He's gone through the line. The guy's pulled him back.
Yeah, there were some very dodgy decisions from the official at the end towards the end of that game. I thought.
But pulling positives out of it, I thought we were trying to be creative, and it wasn't as. Considering it was a defeat,
Let's
it wasn't
deal with the elephant in the room. Percy's sending off. Clearly, we all agreed that if that hadn't happened, we'd have won the game fairly comfortably.
Without doubt.
I think so,
Yeah. Was it a red? Is there any mitigation? What are our views on that? I know Wello's had a go saying.
I think Wello's comment, what past him at window coming in, I think Wello's comment was spot on. We need consistency. Because if that's going to be a red, then that needs to be a red every week. Whoever, because there was no malice in it. But in the old days, people got sent off for malicious stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're not getting sent off for malicious stuff.
It's just off for accidents.
Yeah. And but that's okay. If that's how it's going to be, that's okay, as long as it's the same. What did Wellens say? No matter what shirt you've got on.
Well,
like we said before, each week it's something different, isn't it? And it's a different decision, so you don't know what you are. That's what's annoying the fans, and that's what's annoying the coaching staff and players.
I thought it was a red card.
Did you?
I did too.
Under the new rules.
Under the new rules. Would it have been a red card last year?
I think it was a red card last year.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think last year, if you, no matter what the circumstances, if both players are stood upright and your shoulder goes into someone's kipper,
With that amount of force.
it's a red card. If that was, let's flip it the other way, Graham. If that was against us, every one of us at this table, except Steve, because he's too sophisticated, would have been screaming for that. You'd have been going bananas if that was against us.
Definitely not.
But it's just a collision if it's against us, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, he didn't. When you watched it live, you didn't even notice, did you?
No.
Well, I watched it back when I went home, and John Wilkin was saying, "What a fantastic tackle!"
He did, yeah.
His first reaction was great defence, and he looked at it again and he went, oh, hang on.
Hang
The
on a
first
minute.
three highlights didn't look bad. It was
No.
the third,
And he
whatever,
started
fourth
saying, when you
one
slow
for
it
me,
down,
sorry.
when you
the
slow it
slow
down.
one.
Yeah, but it was on Sky.
and
It was
in
on
the
Sky Max,
ground.
so you couldn't see anything.
And in the ground, I don't. I mean, you sit just behind us. I don't know about from your, but from our side, we've saw it, and we're all like, "What's going on here?"
I didn't.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? What's
I didn't see it first time. It's only when I saw it on screen that I thought, that he's in trouble here.
And even then, it was more. Even though I saw it on the screen in the ground, it was only when I actually got home and scrutinised it. I was like, "Yeah, you're not fair enough."
You've got to now put your hands around, haven't you? That's the thing. It's
You're going to wrap your arms in. Correct.
the way the decisions are going. But back to the crowd, like you said, each set of fans now are just shouting for anything, aren't they? And the referees listen to the fans half the time.
See how that, John? Do you know, to your point on that, wasn't there an instant there where we've tackled Salford, the play stopped, we've dragged him in touch, and it should have been a penalty to Salford right on our line, and we've got the ball.
Yeah.
And you think, and that was right in front of us.
That's called home advantage.
Well, it certainly is, Gary.
If they want to bring two coaches, that's what
It
happens.
certainly is, Gary. But it's exactly what you're saying. It's exactly what you're saying.
Pantomime stuff. I thought that's something that when we went to the Saints event and Friday night, I think Clark went off after about 55 minutes. There was plenty of time to go, and he didn't come back. I'd like to see him play more.
I totally agree there.
At his age, Roby was playing 80 without even question, and he said at that event we saw, would you be happy to share that? I'm more than happy to share it with them. No problem. Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, no, you shouldn't be. You should be. You're 30. I'm playing 80 minutes.
Yeah, but on that event, there must be a lot of diplomacy going on there. It was. It was his first event.
It's not
at Saints,
just that, but it actually happened on Friday.
And he had
We've had this for years. Even Roby, then when Lussick was here changing him, Lussick had only come on for the last 10-15 minutes. Lussick was waiting for me as a Saints player. But exactly the same's happening now. Clark's playing majority of the game. We're bringing them by on for the last 10-15 minutes. But realistically, if you're going to use them both, why not bring him by on for the last 10 minutes of the first half? Yeah. And then let him play the first 10 minutes of the second half, and you've got Clark for the crucial parts of the game, for the start of the game and the end of the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
You can't do that. That goes against the formula.
Well, we've done it for years. And
but it didn't work for me. He shouldn't be only playing 55 minutes talk. He should be playing at least 60. Because Mbai doesn't offer the same.
He doesn't offer the same with Hooker, absolutely.
Do you know what else might have won us the match even with the sending off? Every match this season, Walmsley's played 30 minutes, he's gone off for 10 minutes, and then come back on after 10 minutes. That he's played like a full 60 minutes.
Does 60, does 230s.
Yeah, he does 2 out, which he never really did much last season. But that, especially on Friday, when he went off, and I think the only reason they brought him back on was because we were desperate to try and crash him over the line.
When he come back on.
Yeah, but the difference, because he looks leaner, he looks fitter, which I would never have, defies the logic of...
unless he'd got a knock.
Well, they said his calf. They said he was
think he
cramping.
did.
They said he was tightening up in the calves. That's why they didn't. That's why they took him off and didn't bring him back on, because he's... And I think it was just a last roll of the dice. Let's throw him on.
I thought he'd play less this year, but he's looked great so far.
It's fantastic that first half hour.
He's played.
Yeah,
but that was all we
he's
got.
Still got enough in the tank.
He does indeed, Steve. Yeah, he does indeed.
Although it's early in the season. So
Well, right now we need him massively, because when he's not on and Lee's ain't fit, we've got issues. We've definitely got issues, size issues.
Got inexperience as well with Delaney
Delaney's great off the bench, but we stopped going forward.
See, Gaz touched on before about like missing out on Wardle, missing out on Kieran, goal kicking Kieran, I might have said. But also, when you talk about big forwards, bloody Sam Walters. Do you know what I mean?
Satire.
I don't. I don't know.
Well, I think it's a bit more. It's a bit more complex than that, because you've got to factor in all your wage costs of your current squad, your contract costs, etc.
Well, I know that Matautia and Sirinen would not have been cheap, would they?
No,
but then we're also paying a big wage on Richardson, like we pointed out before. He's not even playing, so that was for me a massive gamble, and we talked about it last time we were here. Why are we paying him a big wage?
Well, we don't know that we are paying him a big wage, to be fair, do we? He might only be on
the other one as well. Why start Matautia at prop? Could have put Knowles there.
I would have done that.
Put Knowles there and put Bell at 13.
Because we've got so many second rows.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's actually only off bench.
Fit Matautia into the team is probably the reason why.
Put him on bench.
All right. Well, let's just review where we are. 3 out of 4. Are we happy with the start, or are we more concerned with the start?
I'm concerned from. In certain positions, in most positions, not. But
the spine and the back, we're happy.
Yeah, he's good. But I'm not so sure about props. But the backs, the centres and wing. If we decide, I'm not going to say the same line again. But if Wonga would have been what we was hoping he would be, I don't think I'd be concerned. But he's not.
He's only played
maybe he will be.
He's only
played twice, hasn't he?
We have to give him time.
The only thing what I will say is that I can't think of a single instance in any of the first 4 matches where he's actually had a chance with the ball to show us what he could. I just can't. He's never.
I blame Alan Rooney. Well, that's
took
another
the ball
thing.
in space. in any game.
And
We
maybe,
just don't play that way. Is
maybe,
why.
but maybe if he's out wing, Connie's playing, Percy's playing.
Ain't going to get a pass either
Might
way.
not be too
If he's
bad, I don't
outside
know.
Percy, he might as well not play.
He
If
played
he's on
me
the
in
other
the first
side,
game.
he's got a
Put two wings
chance.
on the side.
Like you said before, Paul, he played me in the first game and didn't get a pass, did he?
Exactly.
I think any of us could play outside Percy. The results would be the same.
I wouldn't have to give me seats up.
So concerns, shall we say, rather than excitement about how good we are.
Not that concerned because I think we would have won that game with better discipline.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about the games we've seen. I am really intrigued to see, as it's now turned out, our next. I know we'll speak to our next
speak,
team,
yeah.
but in the teams that we've played, it's copy paste from last year for me. It's just but I am so pleased with Clark, Whitley, and Lewis Dodd. As much as I'm not disappointed with Tommy Makinson because Tommy Makinson owes us nothing. But he has destroyed his own body for the sake of our club. But I think the mileage is really showing on him.
I agree with Gaz's point about the pace in the 3 quarters though.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, is there really?
No, but there wasn't last year, was there?
No, there wasn't. No. But is that
Is
what
it
cost
the
us?
pitch? Is it our pitch? Because
No.
No, I don't think it is.
if you've got pay,
Because they're not fast anywhere on any pitch.
No, they're not fast.
Okay,
but they're just not a fast.
It wasn't slow for Tom Johnston last year.
Yeah, I mean,
As we watched him walk past us down the line.
I mean, it's only like 3-4 years ago that Tommy, Percy, Regan, Coote, teams are frightened to death of kicking off against us because they could rip you the length of the field.
Kevin Nagama. No.
These are the same players. It's just
yeah, but that
natural,
wasn't
they're just-
necessarily in February and March when it's been pissing down for 3 months.
No,
It's a different ball game when
It is harder in the winter months. It
It
is.
is harder in the winter months, but myself, I just think they've slowed. I think they've
But,
just got
yeah.
with age.
I think
I thought they would slow
Well,
last
it's,
season and
Well, if you look at it, they're all Tommy, Connie, Percy, NA, and other are all 30 plus, aren't they now? There's no spring chickens and
I don't
whippets in
think
there.
Percy's quite 30 yet, is he? But either which way,
they're 30 this year.
either which way, I just don't think the pace is in there. They used to have. I mean, Tommy Makinson was never the quickest, was he? But he had a decent set of wheels on him. He wasn't Regan like, but he had a decent set of wheels, and Percy had a set of wheels on him.
Yeah,
But then they've took a lot.
He
of
doesn't
battering
really
on him.
now because he's been battered that
but
much.
they've been battered through Steve's famous wolf ball. They've been battered to pieces over the last 4 years,
You see,
haven't they?
the pitch is an equaliser. It's like if we play Warrington on our pitch, they're that much quicker than us that it might slow them down a bit. But like the percentage it slows them down is going to be the same for us, isn't it?
I guess so.
Because they're Warrington, they'll do something rubbish or terrible,
Yeah.
and we will win the game anyway. Because they're Warrington.
This is all.
But defensively, we're better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can argue with the defence. And we lost a couple of tries on
And they're
Friday
still
because of
the same.
numbers. Yeah,
Because of numbers on a bloody good Salford team.
and
Yeah, they were good.
Just some
They are
great
good- they are a
tries.
good side.
they're nobody's mugs, are they?
No,
The problem they've got, I think,
no.
is the lack of depth. They start getting injuries and stuff. They might.
It's the case every year, isn't it?
Struggle
They
there.
always do well, but
Yeah.
when they come low on numbers, that's when they struggle.
And Sneed, if they lose Sneed, they wouldn't be half the team that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wonder what Rowley and Haggerty would do with one of the top clubs.
Well, we thought that when Ian Watson went to
I was going to say,
Huddersfield
Ian
with
Watson
a,
is
with
the
a great
example.
squad.
He did a great job at Salford, but
I know.
he looks terrible now, doesn't he?
And,
So-
and Huddersfield have got a great production line. The players they produce, the
Yeah.
amount of players they produce is unreal. And he's just shit out there.
and he's still picking Jake Connor.
All right. Well, on the basis we've got some concerns and or not in the case as Steve thinks. Next month, and I was looking at doing a bit of research, seeing where we're up to and what we're doing next month. A set of crucial fixtures, a month that could be crucial potentially for Paul Wellens, according to some Muppets on social media. That we've got Leeds away Friday, apparently Leeds away in the Cup the following weekend, Wigan at home, and then Catalans away. Now, they are not a set of fixtures that you'd want with a couple of injury questions and form questions, are they?
It's a tough old run as that.
I think that's the toughest run of games for anybody in the division.
We could lose all
In the next
four.
month, certainly.
The next month, yeah.
We could lose all four. We could win all four.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
It's tough.
It's not often you'd see a run of 4 games and say, well, there's a chance Saints might lose all 4 of them.
But as we saw with Salford on Friday, the new rules make it a little bit of a lottery. Because as soon as you lose a player from a sending off,
See,
it's more likely now.
When you play that bloody shower from North Leeds, it's like, you don't know what, if they turn up, they can beat anybody. But by the same token, you can give them a good hiding. They're a bit of a basket case team.
They're not the most consistent team in the world.
No,
They're not, but they've got pace. Looking at Hanley and Newman and Croft,
Moravsky.
they are a bit scary. They
I'd
break the line, they're gone.
I'd take a cup win over the league win up there anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Hanley's absolutely brilliant. He's playing out of his skin, isn't he?
Isn't he?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
That he's decent and all, isn't he? That is it. Frawley. He's had a decent
He
start.
played for the Giants a few years ago. He was
rubbish.
absolutely dog awful. He looked
He's had a
better
decent start,
at Leeds,
hasn't
hasn't he? Maybe it's Croft making him look good.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, they've got a proper hooker as well in Ackers, and they've got Croft, so they're nobody's mugs. I think their problem's the pack, isn't
Cameron
it?
Smith as well, loose forward, outstanding.
Yes, well,
It's
it's starting to worry me now. I was thinking.
it's a old run of matches, that isn't it? It's what do you reckon?
Again, you could win them all, you could lose them all. The worrying thing for me is going to the league and then the cup, because normally you win one week, you get battered the week after, don't you, or vice versa. So,
So we should send the reserves
It'll
up
be
this week.
interesting to see what the teams are now on Friday,
Personnel, that's what's going to matter.
and see if they
Who's
both
playing.
put a full team out on Friday, because they're going to think, I would imagine, that the cup game is a priority, because in some ways you can afford to lose the league game.
You can
And
lose.
it's-
You
and
can
it's
afford
not-
to lose 8 league games.
It's not
Yeah.
season over, is it? So,
Yeah.
whereas that cup game, you lose that, then you're done for the cup for the year. So,
We need Walmsley in
you'd
that.
think they'd prioritise that.
I would hope
Right
so. I mean, it'd be lovely to win there in the league, but you've got to go for the cup game over it.
Try and get Leeds
But I
back.
think, having said that, I mean, with us on the back of a loss, we might be really keen to get back on the, winning
Well,
I
ways.
I'm
imagine
hoping
Friday
it-
we'll go with everything we've got.
I'm hoping
I
it.
think we've yeah.
Without doubt.
Of course. Yeah.
I think for me the league is always, in any other sport, it's the priority, isn't it? But not in our sport. But I'd prefer to go strong in the league, to be honest.
Well, it's not been a priority for a long time, has it? Right. So while we're on about it, remember a few years ago we played Leeds at Old Trafford, and I think Leeds lost 8-9 matches that season, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the old system's a farce. Me and Steve Orford have been saying this for years. It's an absolute farce of a system. And not only is it a farce of a system to crown your champions, the detrimental effect that's had on the Challenge Cup, in my personal opinion,
Yep.
has been one of the most damaging things to the Challenge Cup, has been the playoffs and the grand final. It was, I mean, we used to disagree about this, me and Steve Orford, but he's always been right with what he said. When you think back, you always say as a kid how much you loved going to Wembley, and that just carries on,
of
doesn't
course,
it?
yeah.
The day out
We
at
kept
Wembley.
getting beat at that
Well,
time.
but that was rugby league's big day out, and
But the grand finals replace that now.
and now our big day out is at an outdated shitty stadium on a wet night in Manchester,
Yep.
and that's a sin. That's a shame. But that again, so that's a different topic for the whole new show. That
It
isn't
is.
it? But
It's a whole different topic completely, that.
But it does it has a bearing on this next league game, I think, because both teams know that they don't have to win
you
it.
don't need to win it.
I don't think we'll see academy teams. I'm not saying that.
No.
But anybody who's
Niggles.
a little bit of risk, I think we might see him miss out.
Do you think Leeds would do that, or do you think?
No.
I think they'll go
I
with.
think we might though.
We might, but
If we turn up without Walmsley and don't risk Leeds and run with a weak pack,
Is Leeds fit now?
could be a tough night on Friday.
And
What's
also
that Percy with it? So
that can
One
damage
person.
you further as well, because if you do take either a weakened team or you have a few players at your rest, and you get battered, then that's a knock-on effect for the week after as well. So you've got to go. For me, you've got to go with your strongest team and put out the best performance.
And do you know what the crazy thing about all this is that last season it was points difference that cost us top spot.
yes,
was
was the Leeds game that virtually cost us top spot. Yeah.
Points difference for the sake of 40 odd points cost us top spot last year.
Well, that's because we got to 12 points ahead and we put Q on the rack, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's the frustrating thing about the London game, first game of the season. Like you said, there's 4 or 5 tries there to take, and we just sat back and thought, we've won this. So
Well, when you watched Wigan at London over the week, they didn't take the foot
Wigan
off.
never
did
took
they?
its foot off the gas.
They
Same with
just-
Leeds as well. If Leeds had a chance to do that, which is 1 week
Steamroll.
for 1 week.
But
brilliant.
are we getting a
They
bit?
take it.
Are we getting downhearted because we lost narrowly on Friday? Had we been 4 out of 4 after Friday, would we be as
We're not-
concerned as we are?
I don't think we're getting downhearted for one, and I don't think it's certainly not because of Friday, because Friday was a great game and
Yeah.
we paid credit to Salford. I think we're lamenting this attack again for the second.
It's
I
not
mean,
just
it's
this
only the
season.
start of the season, but
It's been the last 2-3 seasons, even under Christian Wolf.
Wolf it was, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
We literally
Been saying this
exactly
for
the same.
years, haven't we, yeah?
Yeah, since Holbrook, I'm like, it's the defence is as solid as Holbrook put that defence in there.
But yeah, it's like
But
2 or
because
3
Wolves
years.
kept winning.
We've lost the spark.
You can get away with it if you're winning. You can do it if you're winning.
Yeah.
And the question marks under like
If you play
the
that
Wolf
way-
thing, you're like, everyone's like, well, you're winning, what are you complaining about? We were
Exactly,
winning,
yeah.
but we weren't playing fantastic, and when we got to a certain points tally, that's it, we'd stop. But like you said, they like to Wigan and a few other teams just don't stop scoring, do they? They know that's gonna.
If you play that way and you lose, you get the sack eventually. Which is what happened to Kieran Cunningham.
Well, what you mentioned there, Graham, about Paul Wellens, that I've still got.
Is it a massively crucial month for Paul?
It's a crucial month for the club, but not for him as it
I
comes
would
to
like to
his
think so.
job.
It's too early yet, I think.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, he's. I think he's got too much into. No, not at all. Not at all. He's still the right man for it for me.
But Kieran only got 2 full seasons. And then into that 3rd season when it went a bit toxic.
Kieran was a
Sack.
different level for me. It was the style of we were playing under Kieran was
It was, yeah,
awful.
pretty bad.
And the calibre
but
of
also,
player we were
on
signing
top of that,
was
it wasn't
scary.
It wasn't winning rugby either.
Yeah.
No, it was.
We didn't look like scoring. We just tried to force dropouts like over and over.
We did that drop off as well.
And the drop off
4 times out
With
of
Travis.
set.
with Travis Burns. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
You couldn't
Lord.
pass it.
the quad drop.
Could only pass one way, couldn't he, Travis?
Well, Leeds away twice now coming up, so that's a challenge in itself, even though it's a Challenge Cup. Then Wigan at home, Good Friday.
Yeah.
It's form out the window for that for me. So
It'll be a barometer, won't it?
it certainly will. Yeah.
It'll certainly be a barometer.
Followed up 7 days later by a trip to Catalan. So we're not.
It doesn't come much
Doesn't come
tougher
easy,
than-
does it?
No, it doesn't come much tougher than them 4 matches.
No.
I'm not sure about Catalan though. I don't know
No, they're not
how
looking
good
as
they are
great.
this year because they've had a lot of change though.
Well, Hull ran them close in
Also,
my
they looked
view.
pretty
A lot of
ordinary this whole
change.
Yeah.
the weekend.
Yeah, and they've lost a lot of great players
Well,
though.
that was them, taking the foot off the gas because it's Hull may have been. Because Hull had been terrible until then, hadn't they? So
I don't think
probably
Catalan
thought-
will be as strong this year.
Well, the world champions though at home. It's
Mr. Cunliffe, really?
God's sake, Graham.
What do you need for that?
Atrocious.
Oh, somebody take that.
just thought I'd stick that one in.
Get it out.
Sort of
I'd
got
rather
shivers.
have known than away at this stage of the season.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
That's true. Yeah.
I agree with that. Any bit of an advantage, it just hurts a bit more if we get beat.
it's a
We're
really
just gonna
close,
have to raise
really
it,
close
don't we?
call, that one.
We can do it.
I think we just put a line through Friday on that basis.
But I do think that their attack is better than ours. So if we don't defend well,
We're going to need to
we're gonna
defend
need to
well.
defend.
probably
Yeah,
get
it's
can't we?
Yeah.
And
It's
we're
just
going to
their
need to
pace. Wigan's pace is frightening. That's the difference between
We're
the
going
two
to need
teams
to be
for me.
disciplined, and I don't mean disciplined as in red cards. I mean just silly penalties, lying on and all.
Yeah.
We're just going to need to be disciplined and.
But they'll come out
But
to
they'll come out
to
to.
so
They'll be throwing 3 men in, 4th man in to slow it all down. That game depends a lot on the referee, I think.
if Isa plays as well, he's good for a yellow card and red
Yeah,
card.
he might
isn't he?
go. He is.
Will Walters be back for Good Friday or?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
They got like a
mate.
dislocated shoulder or something.
What about Luke Thompson coming back to centre?
Oh,
We don't care about Thompson.
Is he not going to get booed, Eddie?
Is what?
Not going to get booed. Not going to get booed. Not going to boo him.
Who Thompson?
Yeah.
He's getting slaughtered.
Surely the West Ham's going to boo him.
Absolutely slaughtered.
that just inspired him, though. You know what he's
They've
like.
already got a song about him, haven't they?
Yeah, it is rather. It's a good one actually, but no, he'll get destroyed.
Yeah.
He'll-
When Gary Connolly saw that he was moving there, he was going, yes.
Yeah, I did.
I was going to say, it's no Gary Conley for me.
Thompson sealed his fate with all that nonsense about refusing
COVID and all that.
Yeah, exactly that. He showed his true colours. Yeah, and I don't care how many Wiganers say, oh, he loves Wigan. Does he shite love Wigan? It's all about the money. He's not interested in Wigan, he's interested in money.
It's a shame because he's on a hell of a player for Saints, so, like I said, you would like to give him a round of applause, but not when he's in a Wigan
I didn't mind him going to the NRL, to give that a go and try and, play in a better standard of competition, but then...
You can't really blame him for going to Wigan, because Wigan was it a 4-year deal on the cards?
No, you can't blame him at all.
No, he is.
No, that's the reality these days. It's a professional sport, so
you can't blame him at all. And
I'm not sure I've forgiven Gary Conley the way I did, to be honest.
You've not forgiven Gary Conley?
I'm not sorry, I have now. It's only been 31 years.
Do you know who gets away very lightly with it? Who I've also not forgiven? Andy Platt.
Andy Platt, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Platt's another one. Andy Platt and Gary Connolly. But we know that.
It wasn't Gary Connolly's choice, was it?
No, we know.
I was going to say, we know what went on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Did he get sold with it? Did he get sold? Did he?
That's the story.
Was it Australia?
That the board decided to get rid of him, to take the money.
Oh, right.
But he still
And as I always say, if we don't lose Connolly, we don't get Newlove.
That is a good point also.
And Newlove was
that
the
the
best.
days where the players went to play short contracts over in Australia?
Yeah, he went to Canterbury
He
back
went to Canterbury for about 3-4 months and then came back.
Right.
And then said he'd been sold
Right.
by the club and didn't want to go, but he had to go, he said.
But I think Gaz's comments about Newlove's spot on there.
It's true that, yeah. It is
Yeah,
true.
we wouldn't have got Newlove.
He was one of the
And over
catalysts
that
for
10 years, 8, 9 years, whatever, who would you have rather had? Newlove.
No, every time.
Because going forward, he was
Every
incredible.
single
He was-
Conley
he was
defensively was
destructive.
brilliant. Newlove going forward.
He tries to go on record.
Conley was fantastic as
Course
well,
he
wasn't he?
was.
So
Conley was good
He tried to go
defensive,
on
but
record, he
Newlove
was
was...
outstanding, but Conley, as an all-round player, I think was better.
Conley had a good few years at fullback as well, didn't he? It was fantastic. So
We'll have to beg to differ on that, Steve.
Knew he was outrageous.
He was, yeah.
And you look at the-
not knocking Paul
And whoever was outside him as well, Sullivan, it was just so easy.
Sully, yeah.
There you go.
Was that
There
the
you go,
deal
there's a
where
bit
we
of
lost?
pace,
Was that the deal where we lost Paul Loughlin? After that,
Newlove, no, we lost Bernard Dwyer for Sonny.
yeah.
in exchange for Newlove, yeah.
Great deal.
Had quite a big fee, I think, as well.
Bernard Dwyer was
250
Bernard Dwyer's a good player.
Yeah, but he was coming through at that time.
Kieran.
Young lad called Kieran Cunningham. So Bernard wasn't going to play anyway.
Well, he didn't do much though, did he?
No.
But yeah.
Didn't play with two hookers then, did they? In 1995.
No. Yeah. Anyway, how did we get
back to Thompson.
Gary, Thompson.
Well, then also, if Thompson wouldn't have gone to the NRL, we wouldn't have got Jammer back for half a season, would we? So
Didn't you say he had some sort of charge this week, Thompson?
I did enjoy
He did, but he got-
season.
look at that.
Yeah.
That was a nice
Did he get
finish,
it back?
wasn't it?
No,
Yeah.
he got a 250 quid. He got a 250 quid fine for dangerous contact.
Really?
Why hasn't he got a ban?
Sure, that'll break his bank.
Yeah.
I think Con Thompson as well. If you love the club, you wouldn't have gone there. Thompson, if I'd have been that,
Thompson never
Well, maybe
won
we didn't make him an
if I'd
offer.
have been that good and gone to Australia and I got the chance to come back, I would never.
I don't think we would have made him an offer because we've got.
No, I'm not saying he should have come to
Barnsley
us.
Leeds,
Just shouldn't have
yeah.
gone there.
He's got a 4-year deal on mega money.
I get all that.
You can't blame him for that.
I don't
money
know.
anyway.
I don't know where you get the illusion that he loved the club. Thompson.
No, he
never
doesn't.
gave a-
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
he never
If
did.
No, I don't.
He never did.
No, I don't think he did.
Prove that with COVID.
No, I
he
get
never
it.
gave a toss about the club. He was only ever
He did in
interested
that
in
grand
one
final when he
thing.
got man of the match, didn't he?
He was interested in one thing, and that was his own pockets. Nothing else. Lying in his pockets.
Bit harsh on him there.
No.
He wasn't complaining when he got man of the match in the grand
All right.
final.
Well, let's stop whining about Luke Thompson for a minute and have a look. Who?
Let's just say, hypothetically, if Roby had gone to Australia, would he have ever come back and gone Wigan? Never.
Doubtful.
Never.
Doubtful.
You could have offered him $2 million a year. wouldn't you?
Anyway, we got Leeds away twice now. The Challenge Cup draw was made tonight, and we've got, unfortunately, Leeds away. Steve, can you read it out for us, the draw?
Yeah, we got Ulkr versus Salford Red Devils. Wigan Warriors take on Sheffield Eagles. Batley Bulldogs, they've got Castleford Tigers. Leeds Leopards take on Featherstone Rovers. As we said, Leeds Rhinos take on Saints. Warrington Wolves take on London Broncos. Huddersfield Giants have got Hull FC, and Halifax Panthers have got a home draw against Catalan Dragons. So there you go.
Even Cass might win a game.
What do we think of that? Leeds away and we can get Sheffield at home. Has that a couple of hot balls been put in that draw?
Echoes of the '98 Challenge Cup final there.
Yeah, John Key going to coach Sheffield.
Winning Sheffield.
Yeah, true.
Sure, we'll see that played a few times on the iPlayer over the weekend.
Interesting to see if Catalan ever played at Halifax. I bet they've not been there often, have they?
Good question.
Can he do it on a cold night in Stoke?
I'm sure some of the British players will have, I'm sure.
Yeah. That'd be. I saw Halifax earlier in the season at Oldham. Oldham played them in the 1895 Cup, and it was like, I mean, Oldham beat them, but they were two really good teams. So it'd be nice to have a bit of a fairy tale, wouldn't it? It'd be, but you can't.
You just can't see it nowadays.
No, you
Because
can't.
professionalism at the top level has just created a massive gap. And
That'd be nice if like all the teams went into the act at the beginning, and then your Super League side gets drawn against it. So then the Super League side takes the chance of putting some reserves in. But there's a bit of jeopardy there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because but you just don't get it, do you? No. It's a shame, really. But that OKR Salford.
That'd be the pick of the round.
Well,
the pick of the round, but that'll be the best game.
That'd be the most
OKR, is it?
interesting game.
OKR,
Yeah.
They played a couple of weeks ago. Okay, Salford. It was a really good game. Salford beat them.
Last Thursday, wasn't it? Last Thursday.
Is that what it was?
Okay.
It was around before they played Saints. They beat OKR.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was. Yeah, very good game.
Okay, let's turn our attention to something that happened last weekend in Vegas. Not very often we can say that in one of our podcasts, the NRL.
Leave Eddie's private life out of it.
I forgot about that.
Well, that was in
What
Vegas.
stays in Vegas and all that.
Yeah. Very good, yeah.
Well, NRL put two of its first round games to start the season in Vegas, in the same stadium as the NFL final a couple of weeks before. I watched it. I thought it was fabulous. I think there was a good crowd. Thoughts on that, lads? I think
I'd much prefer on the road.
I bring it up because there's mention of what about taking the World Club Challenge there at the start of the season after the two champion teams have played the season before.
What?
Yeah, the two champion teams. It would not be an NRL game or a Super League game. It'd be taking it and playing it with the NRL games as well.
Oh, with.
So they get 2 or 3 games potentially.
Yeah.
Well, haven't the NRL already got a 5-year?
They've got a 5-year deal on that. Yeah.
That would make a lot. I was going to say, as a standalone fixture, we could end up with egg on our face.
If we took that to Vegas, it'd be nonsense, wouldn't it?
But I know numerous people, Saints fans and from the amateur clubs, who went over there to Vegas for that and took the kids and took the families and all the rest of it.
Looked like there was a massive Aussie following as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
If that's currently a novelty, would they do that every year? If we did, but if that was the venue for the World Club Challenge every year, people go every year.
But then would you have it there every year? Maybe.
Go if your club went.
You would, maybe if your club went.
I know that
Saints, but if Saints were playing World Club Challenge in Vegas, it's a good week that.
And if you let you know a couple of months earlier than a couple of months before.
Well,
that,
Not everybody can afford to go.
Well, it's
exactly as Paul said. The Saints would have took 3 times as many fans to Australia if we had more than 8 weeks' notice on it.
if they would have said prior to the season, right at the end of this year, the World Club Challenge is going to be in Australia. Whoever gets there, then everyone knows. And you've got fans.
You'd have gone. Your brother would have gone. Your dad would have gone. Your
And also,
granddad
what would
would
be
have
the
gone.
purpose?
I'd have gone.
Well, I'd have gone if I'd got more than
You've
8
got
months.
literally
Yeah.
12 weeks notice,
What's the
10 weeks
purpose of
notice.
going over there to play there
In
and playing it in America? Is it because we think we're going to make rugby league popular in America, or is it because we want to go to Vegas for a jolly?
well, the theory behind it is because they think they're going to conquer America with rugby league.
And is that likely? Do we think?
I don't think so. No,
I think it's buying the sky nonsense himself.
I do. I think they got some good. I was talking to a guy who went, and he said that the attendance was decent. He doesn't think it was. They said they'd sold 45,000 tickets. Considering season, the stadium holds 65,000. I don't think it looked
I was
two-thirds
going to
full.
make that point as well. If we get 40,000 at Old Trafford at grand final, people will scream and say it's not well attended.
Yeah. I don't think there was 45. I mean, that stadium holds 65,000.
65, yeah.
And it didn't look two-thirds full to me. It looked maybe just less than half full. I've read a
And do we know
lot.
how many were like locals or Americans? Or?
That'd be interesting, yeah, because like you said, how many locals went and supported it who wouldn't have watched rugby league before
I've
that?
I've read a number of things. I don't know if you've seen them, Steve, because both Steve and I follow the NFL, the American football, avidly. Quite a number of threads, interesting on some of the American football teams' social medias that fans have just been chit-chatting. And one of them really amused me is that when somebody turned around and said, yeah, that number 10 for that team in maroon, he was really good. What was his name? Toyota KFC? Because it's got to be one of the only team sports these days that doesn't put a player's name on the back, is the NRL.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And in the American sports, in the American sports, so you follow basketball, I don't know what it's like, but the American teams in the American sports, they're not plastered in adverts. It's the number and it's the name and it's the kit manufacturer. That's it. There's no sponsorship on American football uniforms. But that made me laugh.
Adverts during the broadcast.
Well, that made me giggle. So maybe for future reference to play over there, because I know quite a few of them said it would be nice to know who's who.
Who's who? Yeah.
When they get these are all like your worldwide superstars, but you don't know who they are. You can't identify. I mean, even as an English fan, when I watch the NRL, I don't know enough about the NRL to watch an Aussie team and know who all them players are.
That's a trick they probably missed on that.
those
I don't know all of them, but I watch it quite a bit.
And they don't have squad numbers, do they? It's just your first, as I suppose it should be, really, is your first 17.
Your numbers change week to week, yeah.
But unless you really know your onions, you're not going to know who's playing. You're not going to know who they are. But I don't think the Yanks will. I'm not so sure the Yanks will buy into it, Steve. As to what you said,
I don't think they will. I don't think there's any potential for it to take off. The four sports that they have there, the NFL, NBA, baseball, and ice hockey, are just huge. There's a four-way kind of.
And the one that's closest to rugby is dwarfing all the others. It's dwarfing everything over there at the minute, isn't it?
The NFL.
Yeah. And there is an America. You've got the Midwest League. You've got teams like Chicago, Stockyard. I mean, Beach here. I mean, how many years have we been talking about the Chicago League? There's like 12 rugby league teams in Chicago alone. They've got their own league.
Well, that's good. Build on that.
There is.
Build on that, certainly, but
I don't know about Volandi's.
I don't
vanity to think he's going to go and conquer America.
Showing them elite Australian and English teams is going to help.
I think from his point of view, what he's looking at is what possible revenue he could get
TV
from sponsorship.
money.
Yeah, well,
TV
back for the NRL, no Americans who want to advertise on Australian television with their products. I think it's that type of thing. But just looking here in the Independent, it said the NRL's Las Vegas showcase has failed to win over American viewers. Said after a rating showed that just 61,000 tuned in to watch the Rabbitohs against the Sea Eagles in the prime time on Saturday night.
More people watching Steph's packed lunch, isn't there? Channel 4.
Eddie, are you going to respond to that?
That doesn't surprise me. You see, I watched it and it was. I think if you're going to sell that game to that American audience, I think you needed to commentate on it in a different fashion. I think it needed to be. I saw some of the promotional videos that they put out there. I'm kind of not surprised. No.
So you wouldn't have had the Australian commentators. You've had American-based ones.
No, I would have had.
Barry and Terry.
I would have it was.
Christ, no.
It was. I mean, I'm presuming we all watched the games.
I did.
I did.
Right. So when you've got the incidents going on that we know as rugby league people, and you can imagine a nation that is ingrained in American football as the only thing similar to rugby, I think there was just too much left unexplained. And there was too much. They were getting too wrapped up, as they do when they're commentating on games from their own country for their own native audience. So I can imagine that if any new viewers were watching it, they'd switch it off pretty quickly.
Is it not because, though, they also know that Australian and British viewers are watching as well, and they don't want to patronise them by telling them what basic rules are.
Again, they've got all this money, the NRL.
Yeah.
The NRL have just hit themselves as $1 billion sport, for the first sport in America to do so. Then put Steve Parky on the red button, commentating for the American audience, and then put Graham and Steve Orford on the normal commentary for rugby league fans, so to speak. A bit like the Americans do for the Nickelodeon channel.
Nickelodeon.
The NFL put matches on Nickelodeon.
That's the kids' channel, isn't
That's the kids' channel. And it's done with a commentary and graphics, and you've then got kids at 7-8 years old understanding all the rules.
Oh, wow.
But if they'd have done a separate commentary for it that wasn't quite as technical, do you know what I mean? I just think that would have helped.
It was also unfortunate for an incident that occurred in that game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well there was
the publicity was pretty
a racism
ropey.
row has come out of this.
Afterwards, yeah.
It's slightly marred it. Spencer Leniu has been banned for 8 games for a racial slur against Brisbane's Ezra Mam,
Yeah, terrible.
which is obviously
And the strange thing about it really was it was a person of colour against a person of colour.
yeah. Well, Leniu I think is a sort of
To do with
Maori origin.
yeah, Maori Aboriginal, wasn't it?
And Mam is a indigenous Australian, I think is the term they use now. So, yeah, but he called him a monkey essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What can you
8
say?
weeks for that.
But that, unfortunately, was the big headlines in the NRL, wasn't it, in Australia? Which
well,
took a bit of a shine off it.
Would have been big news that, yeah.
I didn't realise, I'm still shocked that those viewing figures that Beaches just said there, that is more than abysmal.
Is that the pay
figures
thing?
in the US?
350 million.
That was the US. But you're talking US. You've got 50
350
states.
350 million.
Yeah, 350 million people.
61,000.
But I bet the viewing figures were quite good in Great Britain and Australia.
Oh yeah.
That'll be more than
So
that, yeah.
that kind
But
of
back in Australia, they were very, very good.
it emphasises the point that
But
it's
that's not
hard to
what
get
they
other
want,
yeah.
cultures interested in it, whereas
And-
when it's already established here and over in Australia, there will be interest.
And what I would say is that if any new viewers tuned in and watched that first match, that was so entertaining.
Yeah.
Not only did you have all the tries, but I'm watching it, and within the first 20 minutes, you look at it and there's like 3 players with gashed faces, there's blood everywhere, and you think, well, they're going to love this. If they've tuned into the start of this, they're going to be compelled because there's blood and snot everywhere, there's points being scored, and then you've got a kicker that doesn't kick from in front of the sticks. What's not to love? So I'm shocked.
Probably had the lawyers in America rubbing their hands with
No
glee.
helmets.
No helmets
padded
required.
tops.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting next year to see if the NRL learn anything from that
Yeah.
and change things for next season.
I think that's why they've committed to 5 years, to be honest, because they know it's not going to happen in 12
Yeah.
months. So in 3 years' time, they might have 2 million viewers. Who knows? But it's a plan. And
There was a
if it
lot of
works, it
Aussies
works.
there. Who said it? Was it you that said
Yeah,
about the amount of
yeah.
Aussies that went? There was a massive following, wasn't
You'd
there?
think that there will be kind of some sort of expat population
There's a lot of Aussies in America
Around that area,
who'd
yeah.
make the trip.
and Brits as well.
Yeah, because they could jump on a plane for $200 to get there, couldn't they? Probably. Well, it's like thousands if you're coming from Australia or the UK, whatever. So I watched this space, I think, on that one, isn't
There's a
it?
lot of Super League shirts dotted about as well, the crowd as you watch as well. So.
Pelts, there was a Pelts flag there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was. There was, yeah.
It's a Liverpool.
They put rugby league on, people travel, won't they? But
Yeah.
like you said, you're trying to open the different audience, aren't you?
Yeah, like you say, I don't blame them for doing it. It's definitely worth a go. I didn't think it would have failed on the local viewing figures quite like that.
I'm not like about your chips pissed on there, Eddie.
Well, I'm gutted by that because it'd have been. I thought, well,
Well, you've got 4 more years to improve on that.
There's a slogan, 4 more years, 4 more years, isn't it?
To be fair, if you go into Vegas in the next couple of years
Yeah.
and you're not bothered about what time of the year you go, you would potentially go at the same time as rugby was on as well.
Well, I'm thinking now for next year, my lad who's already over there, I'm thinking
We could meet up.
He could fly over there, I can fly, we can meet up and watch, get a weekend watching rugby, you know.
Why not?
You see, I'm of the other side. If I want to watch rugby league, I'll come to Ruskin and watch Pilks. I'll go to Saints and watch them. If I'm going to America, I'm going watching New Orleans or somebody like. I'm not flying to America to watch rugby league because I've got it on my doorstep.
But it is a day out at an NFL game.
Yeah, it's a development thing over there. There's no way I wouldn't fly to America and go watch rugby league.
But America's the only place you can watch genuine NFL. So,
Yeah.
as Eddie says, you can watch Super League on your own doorstep.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? Obviously, take Saints out of it.
Yeah.
Would you, if you could fly to America once in a year to watch a match, would you go and watch an NRL match, or would you go and watch the 49ers?
I go NFL because it's a genuine experience you can only get in that country.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Whereas a World Cup Challenge, I've watched World Cup Challenge in Bolton.
Bolton and San Francisco in the same sentence.
It's a bit of a tough choice, that, isn't it? Really?
But it's an NRL match, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but we're discussing the idea of taking the World Cup Challenge
If
there.
it was a World Cup Challenge.
I wouldn't fly to America to watch an NRL match either. No. If I'm flying to America, I'm going to watch an American football. But that's because I'm a huge American football fan.
Yeah.
You could do that at the same time. If they're
Would
on
you go
the
to
same week.
Australia to watch that?
I'd go to Australia to watch State of Origin.
Would you?
Yeah. I'd go to Australia to watch an Australian Grand Final. I would have no problem with flying to Australia to watch NRL, State of Origin level rugby league, yeah. But it's purely just because I'm an American football, same as yourself. In fact, State of Origin is something that has always been a thing, but it's trying to get 8-9 weeks off work to go for all three, you know.
Well, you can get NFL here. They have the London games, as you know.
We do.
But you get given what you're given, don't you?
I was going to say it's probably as easy to fly to America and watch an NFL game as get a ticket
to
in
Wembley.
to get a ticket.
I suppose it depends on the availability of tickets, doesn't it?
But that's it, because
I've been to London for the NFL.
Because the logic is, it's that comparison, like we've just seen, America, it's got 50 states, like 50 countries, but you've only got like the one team, you know, which logically is the like national team.
It's not even that. There's only 32 teams.
Yeah, so it's even less.
That's why the college game's so popular, because
Exactly.
no one's got a professional team anywhere near where they live.
And even schools, you filter that down. The schools games that you know support they get for them. You've got.
Yeah.
I wish we had these.
Do you know what?
I've experienced that. I was on holiday in Naples once in Florida, and the place was gridlocked. And I had to wound the window down, speak to the copper who was directing traffic. I said, "What's the problem?" Thinking something was, am I going to have to get out of the way because there's a hurricane coming? He said, "No, it's the high school football match. It gridlocks the town in traffic."
Colleges are getting like Penn State 120,000. Michigan,
The funding they get for college sports.
Yeah, 120,000. But isn't it? It's like bizarre that the NRL have done this venture on the back of what they've seen the NFL do in this country for American football.
Yeah.
The fact that they can put tickets on sale, and in the first half an hour there can be like 2 million applications for tickets for 6 matches in this country.
Those games sell out, but do they have an overall wider impact on the popularity of NFL in England? I would say not.
No, but like they say, the NFL look at it as a 50-year plan regarding having teams in other countries.
Yeah,
now,
but I think
they've started
if there's a team in England, an NFL team, a new franchise, you'd still support New Orleans Saints, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right there. But the NRL have spotted what has gone on in this country right under our nose.
Yeah.
Right under the RFL's nose of how do we promote? We can't even promote the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
We can't even get.
You're trying to kill the Challenge Cup.
Yeah. And yet we've had this example in our own country of what the American sports has done, and the NRL have been like, they've done it.
Yeah.
Why can't we? Well, what do? Deggsy's happy because he's going Elland Road next.
Definitely not going Ellen Road. Deggy. We won't go into that one.
We're going back there for Magic, are we?
Is what?
We're going back there for Magic.
We are, aren't we?
Demand, isn't it? There's a massive demand here for the NFL.
Take it to that.
Ellen Road, then I was like, no, I've not heard that one.
There's no
Leeds.
demand. No demand in America for rugby league.
Talking of expansion, here's a quick link to last week's news about Saints women. The ladies are now on contract.
Wonderful
and getting
news.
paid for their performance. They're paid under contract. Steve, this is something you banged on for many a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, whether it's something to do with losing players, I don't know. But
Well, I've always said at the end of the day, you know, it's been like a false dawn to a certain extent. I think majority of certainly the support that they get, which is great. I mean, I think they've always been under the illusion that, you know, because it's Super League and the way it's promoted and branded, etc., that it's very much like the men's Super League, but they don't get paid. I mean, as far as I'm aware, they even struggle to get expenses from time to time.
Well, we know that both two Steves and Graham. You go back 4 or 5 years ago when we had Shani Crowell and Emily Rudge, and Jodie has been in a few times with us.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were even playing in bloody hand-me-down kits and hand-me-down training gear.
Yeah.
And like you say, up until and still struggling to get expenses to go. When they had the World Cup.
Yeah.
And you've got girls there who are having to quit jobs to get time off work to go and play in a World Cup. And,
Yeah. Terrible, really.
And I think York, Valkyrie were the first ones to go full time or pay the players, and then Wigan followed suit. I think, is it Huddersfield? The other ones, there's 3. Leeds. Sorry, guys, Leeds.
Is this funded by broadcasting?
No, it's the first files of a word. The clubs are doing it.
I think
Out of their broadcasting.
I think they've been dragged into it, haven't they, to
Well, you think
be competitive, really.
Well, I think Saints suffer because what our girls have done, and you've heard Steve's gone on about it, I've banged on about it, and Gaz has seen it. Gaz got sick of hearing to me about it. So a few times we've been matches, and Gaz has come and enjoyed the spectacle for what it is. But the last 8, 9, 10 years, that Saints girls team has blitzed everything in its path.
Yeah.
And our club and the RFL couldn't wait to get them all in front of a camera, stick them on a pedestal. Look at this for women's sport. Look how wonderful these are. Look how amazing these are. And by the way, give that tracky top back to Johnny Lomax. He's getting cold.
Yeah.
Do you know? No, you can't have your own. That belongs to Lewis Dodd, kind of thing. You know. And it's about time.
It's about time. I have to say, when I mentioned it to my missus, she said, "You mean they don't get paid? They haven't been getting paid?" And that was she was astonished for that. Yeah.
It's an assumption because the way it's branded.
Yeah.
It's, you know, people see.
Because it's on Sky and they're building it up. People assume,
very much the same, or same rules must apply. The only thing we've got to be careful of is that the wages don't get out of sync in the sense of, right, well, we've got the likes of Jodie coming who's really good.
Are there any?
And they want massive.
that's why I wonder where the money comes from.
Yeah.
Because
Are there any
is it
rules
sustainable
around
in that
it?
case?
I don't know.
Just they'll need pretty quickly to put sort of salary cap
I
rules
would
in.
have thought so.
Because if they don't, the ones with the most money will just buy the players.
Wigan
Wigan in the 80s,
wouldn't it?
And that's the way it was going.
Yeah.
I think this is great, but I think the sport as a whole, the women's game over as a whole,
Because if it spirals too much, he'll put the game in jeopardy financially.
Well, when you watch the interview that Kev Pender did with Rushy when it was announced, and we've seen Amy Hardcastle, we've seen Shauna Royal, we've seen, Saints have lost some of their better players. And Rushy said that it was earlier than they were anticipating, but he just basically stopped short of saying if we didn't do it, we'd have no team.
Yeah.
And he actually said that on TV. But I think it should have been done. It's all right when he's saying about we've got to get the nutrition and we've got to get this and we've got to get that. And, you couldn't get them a tracksuit for the start.
Yeah.
Start giving us all this about we do nutrition and you know what I mean.
It's all right when the girls put the Saints on the map, win Challenge Cups and Super Leagues, but then when it comes down to paying, that's the thing.
And then when you go to the away matches and you watch the Saints girls at away matches, it's all right, different when they're playing at home before the men play. Not even the home. But when you see the amount of kids running round with Cunningham and Jones and Hoyle and Rotherham and whoever on the back of the shirts, and then you speak to they look, you're going, oh no, we don't watch the men, because these girls don't want to go and watch. They want to watch girls playing rugby.
Sure.
But no, I think it's a great move. It's about time, but it is going to need policing at some point. I won't be surprised if York women get if their wage bill's bigger than York men.
They win things, don't they?
To be honest, because York, I mean, you've seen York's women team a few times. It's unbelievably good.
Yeah, it is.
And people like Tara Stanley and people like that.
Yeah, she's very good.
Nobody at York men's can be paid as much as Tara Stanley.
I wouldn't have thought so. All right. Well, this week and for the coming podcasts, I want to finish on what I class as a talking point. So my talking point this week is going to be discipline and the disciplinary system. And I was having a look at this over the last week or so and at the weekend. Clearly, we went through rule changes, which we mentioned in the last podcast this year for various things. I'd like to have a chat about how we think things have been bedded in. I mean, the classic example last week was Percy. Was that fair? Was it consistent with what's been going on? We've had a brief conversation about it. I had a look at this week's disciplinary on the websites for the RFL, and there were 4 charges, only 4, which Percy was 1, Luke Thompson was 1, Ashworth...
Treachery, was it?
Treachery. That's 28 games.
Was it Dan Ashworth? Or was it Saints?
Ashworth, yeah. He got 3 matches.
He got 3 matches, and one of the... And it might have been Jack Brown, I can't remember. Luke Thompson only got a 250 quid fine for dangerous contact. Percy, as we know, got 2 matches for what he did. But are we actually saying in 6 games this weekend there were only 4 charges? Because that's nonsense, because I watched most of them and I reckon there should have been at least a dozen.
What was the stat from the first week? Do we know the stats from the first week?
There was 1 week, about 16 charges in 1 week.
And we're down to 4 now. Is that exactly the way it's going to go? Because in the season in the past, we've clamped down on this, clamped down on that, and by the end of the 4th week or the 5th week, that's all gone by the board.
Like you said, come summertime, there'll be completely different rules in place, won't there? So nobody knows what
That's pretty much as Paul said
what
before,
we're dealing with.
Yeah, we're dealing with an inconsistent system.
I think we've got to be careful, though, if we're saying that, just because someone got away with something last week, that somebody else should get away with it this week. That's the wrong sort of consistency for me. That's 2 wrongs making it right, isn't it?
Well, we're getting to what about
exactly,
worlds,
yeah.
aren't we?
So I don't think we should go down that route. But I do agree generally there's a massive confusion as to what is, punishable and what is, acceptable.
Well, I mean, when I got home on Friday night, I had loads of Twitter comments about Percy gets sent off, but in another game, another matter, which was a potentially worse incident, it was a yellow.
That's the issue.
And that was a yellow with the VAR involved. And I don't think for a minute if VAR hadn't got involved, Percy would have been sent off. Because I just think it would have just crack on.
The referee wasn't sending him off.
No, I didn't think he was.
That wouldn't have happened because he didn't see it well enough.
I was going to say...
It's VAR at every game.
But that's why the VAR's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yes.
That's consistent then.
Now, don't they, like the Aussies? That's what they...
It's in Knutsford somewhere, I think it was... Wilmslow, is it? Right. Oh, there we go.
Indeed.
Well,
But yeah, that's what we need is, in which we haven't got, and that's all, is consistency. Wellens is absolutely spot on.
Did I read?
We'll see it this week. Somebody will go high, nothing will happen, and we'll all be raging.
yeah.
Isn't it a case that there's, in the whole process, there's 31, I think it is, people involved in things from the officiating to doctors with the heads, to medical people behind the scenes, to the welfare officers from the rugby league, to the various people involved everywhere, and the only one who's played the game is Paul Cullen out of that 31. I mean, Paul Cullen, I ask you, Paul Cullen.
Well, Paul, to be fair to Paul, he wasn't the tidiest rugby league player, was he?
He's a bell end in the same mould as Baz and Tez, isn't he?
I'm sure in the Phil Vivers special on that other podcast that I will plug, Only Rugby League, they did say that Phil Vivers is on the match review panel as well.
No, but he's the chair of the MRP, isn't he?
Paul Cullen.
So you've got a body.
He's the one who makes the phone call.
He's not the only ex-player on that. That group.
No, but in that group of 31, which is the officialdom that decides. So Cullen voices the MRP's opinion, but he's like one voice on behalf of the MRP. But then you've got another 30 people.
So he's not shooting the messenger in that case then?
But he's the only one. So out of all them people, you've only got one, and it's having such an effect on consequence on the sport as a whole surely there's got to be more, whether it be ex-players. I'd open it up to more instead of it just being Paul Cullen. It might be Paul Cullen and Phil Beavers, but whoever. Danny Sculthorpe has something to do with the MRP as well, doesn't he?
Gets better.
But I mean, like, it's not exactly inspiring, that, is it?
Well, it's not. But
How do you qualify to be on this thing? I'm interested. So you got Cullen and Danny Sculthorpe, and I'm seeing certain criteria that surely shouldn't be the case.
It might be that case of if they'll do it, you're in. Like if you volunteer to do it, you're in.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
If you're guilty of all of these things, you can be on the board.
Back to the RFL, see if you can get in, guys.
It doesn't.
Back to the RFL, see if you can get in.
The one thing it doesn't do is lead to consistency, because we can all sit round next Monday, watch every game, and I reckon we could, on the current criteria, we'd have 30, 40 players up before the display on that Monday night. Yet there were 4 this week.
So
It's mad.
So from the bunker point of view, do they have basically a VAR official for every game that's being played? Or
They have a video referee for the game.
Yeah,
In
they
Super
must
League,
have.
yeah, because they're all on telly.
Because that Saints game it was on Sky Sports Max, wasn't it? It wasn't on the main Sky channel, but they still had.
They had Leeds and Leon mentioned.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. They did mention so and so's got involved and he's speaking to the referee. Now, if he hadn't got involved, would it just been play on, or maybe just a penalty?
It was Marcus Griffiths.
Marcus Griffiths, was it? Well, yeah.
There's
The one with the hair.
The one with the hair.
I think there's a couple of things that they do need to tweak. Is the business of the refs call for a try or a no try.
Yeah.
Just say,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a try or not. Have a look at it. You decide.
Well, the rugby union says any reason I can't award the try.
And the
specific rather than.
The other thing regarding all this that's going on, what I'd love them to do is from rugby union, and that is everything's, unless it's a blatant punch on the nose, it's a yellow card with an option to upgrade to a red.
Yeah.
So they give them the yellow card, and then at any point in that 10 minutes, whether it's 30 seconds, whether it's 9 minutes and 30 seconds, but then they've got 10 minutes then to decide, is it really a red
So
card?
the game can go on.
Just let the game flow.
Yeah.
And then if in that 10 minutes at any point the MRP decide, do you know what, actually it is a red card, and then it gets upgraded to a red.
Yeah.
But they've got 10 minutes because it's just...
That's all well and
And
good
more
if the
thoughtful.
system itself is consistent. But if you've got games where...
But that would help the system be more consistent during the game. I'm not talking about the MRP, obviously, that's the thing, innit?
Yeah.
But during the actual game itself.
Yeah.
So
It's a good point about the try award, because they don't see many now where the VAR overrules the ref. And I would say
They used to.
If the
Yeah,
but not really much now. If the Jake
Liam
Ward,
Moore, it's Penrith.
if the Jake
Yeah.
Wardle try goes straight to VAR,
The ghost try.
they're not world champions.
That should have been overruled 100%.
Yeah.
But the VAR wasn't prepared to overrule the wrong decision by the ref.
Yeah.
And I think there's just very few now where you see VAR. It's like they say things like, "I've not got enough evidence to overrule the ref. Go with the on-field decision."
But that's clearly wrong, because the on-field decision is asking for help. He doesn't
So
get looked at
I
unless
like
he gives
the idea of
does
saying, "Look, you know
Yeah,
what?
it's a good point.
I don't know that VAR. You decide.
Would you not
You've got
rather
7
have a
different views."
benefit of doubt to the attacking team? Like we used to have that.
But it used to be that,
Does
didn't
that
it?
work better?
Well, if the guy on the telly, with the telly, can't decide, then maybe you go with a benefit for the attacking side. But surely the guy on the telly...
If you brought that back, you'd see more tries.
But if the
In
guy...
virtually every case, should be able to make a
If the
decision.
guy on the telly from 6 angles can't see if it's a try, it's probably not a try.
Yeah, if you're going with the video ref, let him decide, not the referee saying what he
Yeah.
thinks originally.
Because like you said, that Penrith one's a prime example, and he didn't want to overturn the
Didn't want to
referee who'd
overturn
give
it.
it as a try.
Well, he should have done, yeah.
But if the referee give it as a no try, he certainly ain't going to overturn it to give it as a
No
try.
way he would have overturned it.
He wasn't going to go into that other than what
50-50
Liam
decisions
Moore
like
said.
that determine that game.
But my biggest concern about discipline at the moment is the fact that we still seem to be punishing accidents,
Yeah.
which are by definition accidental.
Yeah.
That was my point earlier about
How can we
malice.
go on doing this? It's not. That doesn't make the game safer because they are accidents, and accidents are still going to happen.
Like Adi said before, that was a very good point what the union do. If
Yeah.
you're going to do that, then send him to the bin and then decide in that 10 minutes.
But we've also got the other potential problem, in my view, on this, is that attacking players are basically barley in tackles, aren't they? If they lead with the shoulder or initiate contact with the head of the defender, nothing's going to happen to them. It's always down to the defender.
Well, that's the thing with the Connie thing. They clashed. Did Connie clash with his head, or did he clash with Connie's head?
Yeah.
You know,
There was head contact, but I didn't notice it at the time.
No.
Only when I went back and watched it over and over to see what it was.
Yeah, but it was one of them where it's trying to.
Two big units, a fantastic challenge. You know, and he gets a one-match ban.
But was it the attacker's fault for the head knock, or was it the defender's fault?
Is there any way that Hull can stop that try without that head contact?
Yeah, by
But
tapping
he
him
hasn't
around his
fallen
legs.
with his head, he's just fallen
Too
in.
lost the line, really.
You've got what Steve said with the accidental side of it, and pedantic or not, but if you're going to stick to a rule, if two teammates clash heads and one of them goes off and fails a concussion,
Sending them both off.
it's an accident exactly the same as if they're from different sides.
But you just said you've also got an issue if you tackle on your own line. If you go low, they go over you and score anyway. So you've got sometimes you have to go high on your try line to stop them scoring. Then also the issue you have with a lot of the penalties now, if something happens, all the players run in, and especially if you're playing away at Hull KR or Leeds and the fans are on the back of the ref, then straight away you know what's coming. It's going to be a yellow or a red card, which sometimes is out the hand of the ref because you just listen to the crowd, isn't he?
Well, you'd hope not, but yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
Well, you said before that it's an home-field advantage, isn't it?
Exactly.
That penalty we got on Friday night, that non-penalty that Salford didn't get on our line when we dragged their player into touch, it was one of the most blatant penalties.
Oh, it stopped maybe about an hour before,
It
didn't it?
stopped, yeah.
That was one of them, and yet because as soon as we dragged him into touch, our crowd started going bananas and our players started jumping up and down. It wasn't a penalty to Salford, and it was our ball because we tackled him in touch.
Correct decision.
Correct.
I'll tell you what, they didn't spot forward passes though, did they?
Oh no.
That final try had
There was
2
one we
minutes.
spotted that was not a forward pass, the brilliant Hankinson one in their own quarter.
He was lucky that he didn't
We
get
s-
sent
we scored off that.
didn't he?
Yeah.
He got penalised for descending it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be mouthing off at the referee, obviously, so that's his fault.
But if Blake would have tackled Laffey and McDonald wouldn't have run through 3 of our players, we would have won anyway. So
No, you're right,
isn't it?
Paul.
Sports.
You're right, Paul. You're right. What would
Would have kicked the goals.
Yeah,
We wouldn't have lost,
Percy
potentially.
kicks the goals before he gets sent off.
He didn't.
Steve didn't miss, did he?
No.
Kicked everyone.
Yep.
And some of them were proper difficult as well.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah, but
touchline,
that's
aren't they? Not quite how I want to finish
Well,
the
goal,
talking
goal
point.
kicking, as you've been saying, Eddie, for a while, goal kicking at said is a huge issue.
Yeah, it's an issue. And it's going to cost us in big games, isn't it?
Well, it's already cost us one, arguably.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
Yeah. And especially when you're going up against teams like Leeds and
yeah.
with Martin with
Leeds.
90-odd%.
Last year against Leeds, we had 2 games against Leeds that finished 1 point either way.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna come back and haunt us. So on the disciplinary talking points, it's the consistency that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, lads. Thank you very much. That's another interesting podcast. Thanks a lot, lads. Thanks to Steve on the buttons.
No problem.
AD, Gaz,
Cheers.
Paul, Steve.
thank you, Graham.
thank you very
Thanks
much.
to Pilks Rex for the facilities of the room. Thanks to the Sticky Wicket at Ruskin Drive. And we'll see you next month.